of our sessions. We started last week. By the grace of God, it was an amazing success. A lot of people were impacted, and we got some wonderful feedback. So I'd like to welcome everyone to the next edition of our Victory at Reading Life in Isolation series. These are series we have put together as a family, as a group, for ourselves and for everyone to come in and just talk about real life issues. We are a Christian family, but also we also know that we are a practical Christian family. So we want to discuss things that impact everyone in our day-to-day lives. So last week we spoke a lot about dealing with anger in for us in isolation. These times are strange and interesting times. A lot of us are on lockdown, are at home. So, and that also means that we have a lot of that for any reason we are cooped up in the same house with members of our family or whoever it is we are home with, and emotions can run high. So we spoke a lot and we got some wonderful nuggets and advice and tips, and we shared around how to manage anger. So this week we're moving on to another very critical topic, which is money. Money matters, whether we like it or not. Even the Bible says money after all things. So money is a form of transaction. It's something we all need to maintain our daily lives. Money is important, and with the economy going the way it is, I mean, just recently the Vice Chancellor spoke a lot about by July they will start to turn the tap off for everyone that are looking to give benefit of free money or being on furlough, because I don't want to call it free money, because for some of us, it's not by choice, it's because of the economy. So for some people, the government has already spoken, has already said that they might be ending that by by June. So for some people, that means jobs may be impacted. I know for some companies I work with already, they've spoken about a 20% pay cut across the board. So you can imagine a 20% pay cut, but you don't get a 20% pay cut from your landlord, 20% pay cut from your mortgage, you don't get a 20% pay cut from your bills. So these are practical, real life issues that it says iron sharpens iron, and as a group and as a family, we can learn from each other, we can share from each other around how to improve our money management, and more importantly, simple steps to make your money go further. So without much further ado, because of time, it gives me great pleasure to introduce someone who I know is hot on finance. She has a passion for finance, and she mentors and coaches and counsels a lot of. She's also our church and church treasurer, and she's also an accountant and has a chartered accountant. So there's not many people I would point you to speak to when you want to speak about finance. So it does give me great pleasure to introduce Deaconess Oloko to speak about finance. So over to you, Ma.
Oh, good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining today's session. Like Femi has rightly introduced, we're talking today about money. Money matters. More importantly, how do we manage unlimited funds in this environment? From what Femi said, we all know that for some people, they've lost their jobs. For some people, they have their income has come down by 20%. And for some people, actually, it's worse than that, because for self-employed, your 80% is not 80%, it's something completely different. So the impact on each one of us differs. And because of that different impact, it is so important for us to kind of know how to manage our money and how to manage our finances and what best to do. What are the things that are available at the moment to help us stretch the money that we have on us? I'm assuming, and I'm assuming rightly that on today we have people who are self-employed, we have people who are employed. And what I mean by that, you're working for a company and you get your salary at the end of the month, or you're self-employed, you're a contractor. So as such, you rely on income from being contracting your time, or you may have your own business, in which case, depending on which sector you're working on, this is going to impact you adversely. You can't open your shop customers have dried up, and income has gone down. So it's about what do we do? What do we do at this point in time? Femi rightly said that we are Christian. We are Christians, and as such, I would say to you that the first thing, and as a Christian organization, that the first thing we need to do is to seek God in prayers. Because whatever you want to do, if you don't place your trust in God to give you the wisdom, the grace, the strength to go through this, you are, I think you are, I say it now, you're banging on the wrong door. So my first thing to you will be to seek God in prayer, because the Bible says that we shall ask and will be given. And for everybody who asks will receive. And it says as well in 1 John 5:14 that says, this is the confidence we have in approaching God, that if we ask anything according to his will, he hears us. God's will is that for us to prosper, and for us to prosper, not just in our health, but in our wealth. And as such, when you know your God and you know who you serve, you can approach God with confidence that even in this environment, in this situation, you trust him to help you out. It says in the daily bread, in the Lord's Prayer, give us our daily bread. That is his desire, is to give us our daily bread. So my first thing for you to do is to go to God in prayer and humble yourself to actually lay down, Lord, I am in trouble. Financially, I'm in trouble and I need your help. And to replay his promises to him, because it says, those who put your trust in him, we will never forsake him. So when we seek him, we will never forsake, because we have already put our trust in him. So that for me is the first thing that you need to do. Then, because once you put your trust in God, you'll be amazed how the wisdom and to do other things will follow. Then, I would say that the next thing for you to do, I'm going to share a screen with you now. And what we're going to do, can you see my screen? So I hope you can see my screen. So what I'm going to be talking to you about, I have summarized is PBIS. So we are now, we all know, you know what your current circumstances. So for you to be able to manage your money, I have grouped it under 4 headings, PBIS. PBIS, you're wondering what does PBIS stands for. The first thing is that you need to plan. You need to have a plan. The Bible says, what is your, that he who has no plan, I'm going to actually show you that slide, because I was trying not to show all the slides in one go. But it says, the Bible says that the plan of the diligent leads to profit, as surely as haste leads to poverty. So if you don't have any plan about how you're going to manage your reducing fund, then you're going to lead to poverty. You're going to end up in situations where you're going to spend more money than you actually have. You need to have a goal for yourself. The Bible says we should write it down. Write down your financial goals. What are your goals? What are you trying to achieve in this season? Is it, oh Lord, I'm trying to manage my expenses. I'm trying to reduce, my income has gone down by 20%. I used to earn £1,000. Now I'm earning £800. My expenses is still £1,000. My goal is to reduce my expenses by £200. That is a goal. It could be that I need to save money. I still have a job now, but the way the economy is going, everything that we're hearing says that I don't even know if I'll have one next month or in 6 months' time. So my goal is to save money. So you need to have a goal, you need to have a purpose, and you need to write it down. You need to write it down so that you can see your goals. And then you empower it. Then you have to then have actions around your goals that says, okay, this is my goal. I want to save money. I want to reduce my expenses, and hence put down actions that to achieve those goals. And then what I would say to you is that you need to write these goals. I said write it down, but put it somewhere where you can see it every day. Every day when you look at it, you can see it. It may be in your kitchen on your fridge. It may be next to your bed where you see your goals, what you're trying to achieve. And what I'm talking about now is your financial goals. That what are your financial goals? What are you trying to do? So because without a plan, without a purpose for what you're trying to do, you're going to fail. So you have to have a plan, you have to have a purpose for all of this. Then then the next thing you need to do is, I said PB, the next thing is budget. You cannot save money, you cannot cut your expenses without understanding where you are now. What are your expenses now? You need to understand what are you spending your money on now, and what are the things what are the things that you're spending on that you can actually classify as that, hold on, I don't need this. This is a need, this is a want. This is something that I can eliminate. I don't have to do this anymore, or these are things that I can limit my spending on. So it's very important once you set your goals to have a budget. Budgets are, for some people will be daunting, for some people will be easy. In order for you to set your budget, you can use Excel spreadsheets, or you can use the various tools available that after this session, we will gladly send you a budgeting tool that you can use that helps you understand how much money do you have, based on the money you have, how much money are you spending, and how much money is left over. Which area of your spend can you cut back on? And I would recommend that before you start this, that you download your bank statement for the past 3 months, or even longer, depending on what you have. For some people, if you have a Monzo account or a Starling account, they have tools within their banking system that helps you analyze and categorize your spend. So it is important for you to be able to understand what have you been spending your money on before now. Because based on what you've been spending your money on, then you can then budget for the future. This is then how I'm going to spend my money going forward based on what I've spent so far. So you need to understand what you've been spending your money on. And you need to then, I think this is, before I go on, and I think I need to put this one. For you to go through this, last week we said that anger is an issue this time. One of the biggest cause of divorce and anger and fighting in the home is money. So please, 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 I'm going to say this to all you, or everybody, regardless if it's a man, if it's a woman, regardless of who you are, that you need to do this in collaboration with your husband, with your wives, with your partners, because there's nothing as bad as you trying to achieve something that you have not communicated or you've not agreed with your partner, and then it causes fight. I have an example of somebody who, I think one of them lost their job and they only have one income, and in trying to manage the expenses, the wife said, from now on, nobody eats more than, you will not put more than one meat on your plate. She didn't share that with her husband. And then of course the husband wants to eat and they put one meat on the plate. And he eats and he saw red. It's like, why would you put one meat on my plate? Push the plate away, and that was the source of the fight. If she had sat down with her husband and said, look, now that we have one income, we need to manage our expenses. We need to cut down on certain expenses. And one of the areas that I've said is that no more are we going to be putting 4 meat on a plate of rice. We're just going to have one, just to manage for this time. When things get better, things will change. She didn't do that, and that caused problem. So if for this to work in your home, that you don't get anger problem, you don't start fighting over money, you don't get angry because you seem to be saving money and somebody is just spending it regardless of your current situation, you need to sit down and agree this before you start and get everybody on board we've done this in my house, where we've sat down to say, okay, how do we manage expenses? How do we manage our cost? How do we manage things? So it is important for you to get agreement and collaboration, because with that, things will get better. So I'll go back to the budgets now. So you need to do your budgets. I'm going to show you a spreadsheet that I tried to put together today, which was, and hold on. So this is an spreadsheet that I tried to create today that I was going to share with you. And what a budget is really putting down all your income and your expenses. So based on what you've gathered from your bills, your bank statement, you should be able quickly to be able to put down on a spreadsheet. And this is a budgeting tool, what you're spending. And on this, you can see, I don't know if it's visible enough, that on this, what you can see is that it's grouped into what you spend on in terms of your housing, your rent, your phone, your electricity, broadband, everything. And you go down and you put down what you are currently spending on everything. You put everything down there, it would group it for you, and you will see how much you're spending. Based on, on this one, what I deliberately said, oh, my current spend is 3,500, my income is 3,500. The good thing about this budget is that I then did a second one that says, okay, my income is going down to 2,800 pounds. What am I going to do? Where are the areas that I'm going to cut my cost from? Cut down on my expenses. And I put a separate line there to say, this is my projections. What this allows you to do.
Can I say we can't see your spreadsheets.
You can't see the spreadsheet at all.
No, we can't.
Is it too small or what?
It's not showing. The PowerPoint is showing. So,
the PowerPoint is still showing.
Yeah.
But okay.
But if you can't, we can send it to people.
I'll send it out as a tool later on.
Okay.
So,
excellent.
So it's more about saying, so on the spreadsheet, really, you have different categories saying your household bills, your travel, your mortgage and credit cards. It's everything you can think of is already there. So all you need to do is put that in there, and that will help you see what you're spending and what you propose to spend. And of course, when you have a budget, once you put that together, you have to be disciplined enough to say, I'm going to stick to this budget. And to help you manage your expenses, before I go into the tips, the first thing I will explain, I want you to do, once you set up your budget, is you may only have one bank account at the moment. I want you to set up another bank account. And I'll tell you why in a minute. So on your main bank account, I want you to go back and align all your expenses, everything that you're going to, all your utility bills, align it to your payday. So if you get your salary on the 30th of the month, make sure all your expenses go out on that same day. Because what happens then is that all your expenses have gone out. Whatever is left is what is left for you to spend on food and yourself. So you spend all the things you've already paid for on your payday, what you have no choice about. You have no choice, but you have to pay all your telephone, your credit card, your rent, your electricity, your gas, and all of that. Align those to your payday. The account you're going to set up is for your emergency fund. I know I said to you that you may have a job, but you don't know if you have one in 3 months' time. So this is a time for you to set up an emergency fund. And what I want you to do that your emergency fund, start putting in at least 20% of your income, start putting it away into your emergency fund. So you see what I'm saying to you? What I'm saying to you now is that for those of you who have 100% of your income, start thinking that I only have 80% income, and put 20% away and only spend 80% of your income. And please, 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 before you do all of this, I said you should seek God. when you're seeking God, not just seek God for his help, but you must be obedient to God's laws. And one of the fundamental thing about getting from God is giving to God. You must, if you look, when I send out the spreadsheet, you will see that in that spreadsheet, in there is charities, and on charities for me means my tithe to God, your tithe to the church, and your offering. Before you do anything, take out your tithe and offering and take out your emergency fund. You're then going to say, oh God, is that going to be sufficient? It is going to be sufficient. If you trust in God, it is going to be sufficient. So going back to your budget, so you put your 20% in your emergency fund. Now we're now going to, okay, now I have 80% left. How am I going to spend? What am I going to do to stretch the 80%? Okay, so here comes all the saving tips now. And I'm sure that's the reason, that's the reason I'm here as well. Okay.
Just so we give you two time to breathe, I thought we just check with everyone. Any questions, comments, thoughts? I think family and a group as well. If you have any contributions, questions, comments, or questions you'd love Deaconess to answer specifically, you can go ahead and ask. Or type it in the chat box. Okay.
Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions, comments, contributions, things that have worked for you? Okay, so that means, okay, we have a question. Emergency funds and charity will be 30% out, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, so what we're saying is emergency funds is 20%, and your tithes and your contributions, your giving and your seeds, etc., will be that will take you to 30%.
Yes, it will.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Okay. So now, in terms of how do I save money? How do I make my my expenses go further? You've already done your budget. You know what your utility bills are. My first advice to you is that your mortgage, your utility bills, if you work it out, you would see that it probably takes up about 30%, 30 to 40% of your income. That is the biggest bulk of what you spend. So the first thing you should do is to look at your electricity and gas bill and switch providers. It doesn't matter how many times you switch providers. This is a time for you to switch providers because you're guaranteed to save about at least £300. So you need to make sure that you switch providers at this time, because that accounts for the bulk of your spend on a monthly basis. That is in fact the biggest savings you're going to have. The other thing then is to, yeah?
No, I was going to say, can you're still on the power PowerPoint.
I know I'm on the PowerPoint.
Okay, you've not changed to saving tips.
I haven't changed to it because I want you to listen before you read it.
Okay, okay.
So the first thing is switch providers. Let me quickly talk about your electricity. Make sure once you switch your providers, and whilst you're switching your providers, make sure that, because at this time of the day, in this period, we're all staying at home all the time. Make sure that you only have the lights on where it is needed. Don't just get up out of bed, leave the lights in your room off. Make sure that you switch off all your lights, switch off all the appliances at the plug. Do not switch off your freezer, but switch off all appliances by the plug so that there is no appliance that's just sucking energy for no reason. One of the things that do your washing at night. Don't load your washing machine during the day. The rates during the day, it's a lot higher than at night. Do your washing machine at night. Charge your laptops during the day, because a lot of, if you're charging it overnight, you're charging your phone overnight, you leave it on, you've gone to bed, you've left it for 8 hours. The charging is only about an hour, but you've left it for 8 hours overnight. So those are the practical steps, and all these little things will help. I found out that since this lockdown, my electricity bill has gone up by 30%, because we're all on our laptops. The lights are on when we're not there. We're not mindful. So you need to be mindful of the little things, because those little things will help you. Once you've done that, if you are still struggling with your bills, you can go to your suppliers and ask for payment holidays. So they will give you 3 months holiday. Sorry, please, I just need to quickly plug my laptop.
After questions, so while we wait, if anyone has, you can raise your hand. Have something that's worked for you in the past. If you raise your hand, we can unmute your mic and you can contribute in the meantime. Oh, are you back? We can't hear you yet. But if you have any contributions, thoughts, just raise up your hand and we can unmute your mic, so you can.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Sorry, my laptop seems to have gone crazy. So, like I said, one of the things you need then to, so your ask for payment holidays. Your all suppliers will give you 3 months holiday. If, however, you still can't meet your payments, there are energy grants that they will allow you, they will pay your bills for you. But that obviously requires they would have to assess your income, understand what the issues are, and so you can still get that. So what I'm saying, for your gas, your electricity, your utility bills, you can ask for payment holidays. The same thing with your rent or mortgages. You can ask for payment holiday. They will give you 3 months. So for the next 3 months, you're not going to pay your mortgage, but they will add it on. So what you're doing is you're lengthening the period of your mortgage. With rent, obviously, you're not lengthening the rent period of your mortgage. You are going to have to pay that rent between your contract period. All that gives you is breathing space at this point in time when you don't have the income to pay for it. Sorry.
We have some questions that you could help with.
Okay.
So number one, we have a good question here. Is this from residual after compulsory expenses deducted? I presume we're talking about the 30%. 30%. Is this from residual?
Yes. Yes. This is from your residual income. Yes.
Okay, brilliant. We have another one. If my income in your example is £3,500 and my expenses is £3,500, so they're the same, then how can I achieve a 20% savings?
You can achieve a 30% savings. You know, I told you one of the things, I told you that you need to look at your expenses, and you then need to look at what you're spending money on, and then you need to classify your spend into need and want. If you're telling me that your need, which are your essential spend, and what I call essential spend here are things like your utility, your house rent, your food. If you're telling me that your essential spend is already 3,500, then you have a problem. You need to look at that.
Okay. So the answer is you need to focus on your needs, your survival needs, your food, your rent or mortgage, your gas bills, utilities as a priority first.
Those are your priorities that you can get all your mortgage, your utility bills. You can put food on. You can put food on your table. That is your priority.
Okay. So, and as I say, so thanks. So the assumption here is that the residual income isn't attached to hard important bills. Okay, we have someone who would just like to contribute something, and they've raised their hand. So we'll unmute the mic now. So if you can unmute when you're ready, sir. Mr. Patience, it's you. You can go ahead now. We can hear you, but there's quite some background noise. Okay, we can't hear you, but if you... I think we're struggling with her, so I will send a message in the chat box that we're struggling with the noise. Okay. So I think we just have to, we won't be able to hear her for now, so I will just mute her. So, okay, so in the meantime, any other questions, any other thoughts, contributions while we wait for, while we wait?
Okay.
Okay, then, over to you.
Okay, so like I said, on your mortgage, you can speak to your bank and they will give you 3 months holiday. More importantly, your credit cards. You need to shop around for better rates. If you have credit cards, this is a time for you to look for lower rates. And what I mean is that you can get cards with 0% balance transfer. Obviously, this requires discipline because that means you can transfer your money from your current credit card that you're paying 20% or whatever percentage for to one that you can pay 0% on for the next 2 years. And that would take out all those interests that you're having to pay on it. But at the same time, your credit card, you can ask for 3 months payment holiday as well. So both credit cards and your mortgage, you can ask for 3 months payments as well. Make sure your provider, I think one of the things the government has said is that by asking for a 3 month holiday, it will not adversely impact your credit score. But make sure that your provider puts that in writing to you, that they're not going to adversely record anything against your credit score, that after 3 months, you now have a different problem. But they will actually give you a 3 months holiday. I'm not going to go through everything, but the other key things in your homes that matters. A lot of us have internet at home. We have internet, we have Sky, we have Amazon Prime, we have Netflix. You're not using your Sky, most of us are on Netflix. Cancel all of this and stick to one. Choose which one you use frequently and stick to that alone. Call your broadband provider and move. Each time you move to a new provider, they always give you a better rate than if you're an existing customer. So move your provider. On insurances, the same thing applies with insurances. You can now terminate your insurances. You can change them without any charge because that is what the government has agreed with all insurance companies. So this is the time to review your insurance policy. If you're not using your car like you used to, downgrade it to a third party. third-party policy is cheaper than comprehensive policy. You can change it to a per mileage deal. You go to your provider, ask for a per mileage deal. If you're doing less than 7,000 miles a year, that is cheaper than having a blanket insurance policy. You can, if you have 2 or 3 cars in your house and you're not using one of them, apply to DVLA and put it on SORN, S-O-R-N. What that does is that you don't have to then tax or insure it for that period. More importantly, if your MOT is due between now, since March, you don't have to go and do your MOT. The government has given us 6 months extra. So that's a savings. You don't have to do the MOT now until October. So wait until October, that will help your cash flow. Your home insurance, like I said, you can apply for holidays. You can change you should change your policy. Review your content. Most of us, we just automatically say, they ask us how much is the value of the content in your property. You will automatically say 75,000 or 100,000. If your house burns down today, they will not give you 75,000 or 100,000. They will tell you all your furniture, and even if you add all of them together, it's no more than 20,000 pounds. But if you change the value that you have on your insurance policy, your premium will come down. So all of these steps that you take would gradually reduce your total overall expenses. If you have the British Gas appliance cover, like me, I just discovered my British Gas appliance cover for if my boiler breaks down, I'm paying £70 a month. I can switch it to any other provider for £20, which is what I'm going to do. I've been paying £70 a month, and now it's like, why am I paying you £70? What is it for? So look at everything, insurance, car, mortgage that you have, and change them. I'm not going to go about the other things. When you think about food, the other area we spend a lot of money on is on food. Don't look at me now. I'm focusing on the essentials things that you have to do, because I am assuming that part of looking at your budget is saying to yourself, all of these wants, all of the things like clothes and all the things that you don't need, and at this point in time, all of those are gone out of the room. You have eliminated those, you're not spending money on them. And on your essentials, you're going to start limiting how much you spend on them. On foods, the first thing, we all seem to have big freezers full. Our freezers are full to the rim. Determine that until you finish what you have in your current freezer, you're not going to buy anything again to put in the freezer. I know people who have freezers that are full, and they will still come and ask you that, can they put other things in your own freezer? They have not finished what they have in the freezer, now they keep buying and buying. So resolve to finish what you have in your freezer before you start putting anything else in it. In terms of your regular food shopping, I would advise you to change to value shops. And what do I mean by value shop? I mean Aldi, Lidl. By changing to them, you automatically reduce your shopping bill by 30 to 40%. Lidl is the next shop to me, it's the closest to me. And I've swapped everything that I buy to, I only go to Lidl now. The only thing I go to Tesco and Sainsbury's for are like cereal. Apart from that, everything is from Lidl. The other thing I'll say to you is that be smart when you're going to store. All shops have times during the day when they reduce their stock. Tesco will reduce their stock at 1 o'clock. Aldi reduce their stock by 30% in the morning. If you time it right, you can go to the store and something that would automatically cost you £10, you're now paying £3 for. The last time I went to Tesco, I wanted to buy burgers. Each pack of burger is £2.50. I timed it right. I was there at 1 o'clock. All of the burgers were like half price. All the chicken legs were 84p for 1 kilo pack of chicken. And so you're reducing your spend on essential. That is an essential spend, but I am cutting back on how much I'm spending. I'm not limiting what I'm buying, but I'm cutting down on how much by being savvy about my shopping. swap to own labels. A lot of this shampoo, the shower gel, swap them to own labels. Don't go for expensive brands. If you want to stick to expensive brand, only buy expensive brands when they have sales on. They always have offers. Today they sell your Redox at on them with £2. Tomorrow it will be 99p. So buy it only when it's 99p. Don't buy it when it's expensive if you need to do it. But and then before you go out, do your homework. Check who has offers on so that you know where to go. And don't go to the shops every day, every other day. I can promise you, if you shop every week, you will spend the same amount of money. If you shop monthly, you will spend £100. If you shop weekly, you will spend £100 every week. So it is important to cut back the number of times you go shopping. So I've been talking now about areas how you can save on your essentials. I'm going to quickly, because I'm mindful of the time, I'm going to quickly talk about savings. I've told you, open an account and save money. You need to save. You need to save for emergencies. It is so important that you save your money. I started by saying PBIS. What does the I stand for? I stand for increasing your earning power. You will be amazed. And it says, you know, if you remember in the Bible, when the woman whose husband was in so much credit, and Elijah asked, what have you got in your hands? A lot of us have other talents in our house, in our body, in our head, in our mind, in our everything at home, that you can increase your earning power even at this point in time. Even though your job might be doing, you can look for other sources of income. Many of us you look at the talents that you have. I look at myself. Yes, I'm an accountant, but actually I can cook. Are there things I can do? I can bake. Can I start something on the side that bake for people? Can I cook for people? So you have to look inward and say, how can you earn money? Throwing your money into lottery is not earning money. I know you can win it, but your chances of winning are so slim that what you need to do now is looking at what talents you have that you can earn money from. What do you have in your house that you can earn money from? It is so important that you look at what you have around you, what you have within you, that God will bless, and you can then earn from that. I'm going to, looking at the time, I'm going to stop and wait and to see if anybody has any questions to ask.
Yeah, yes, because of our time, I just think it's a good time to just find out if you have any questions, any contributions. Yes, we will send out the files and the recording, and we will let you know where they are available. Yes, and the spreadsheet as well that Deaconess spoke about, we will share as well.
Sorry, can I? Hello?
Yes,
hello.
Please go ahead.
Yeah. Can I ask a question if it's not too late, please?
No, it's not. Please go ahead.
Okay. Sister Tutu, very good contribution you've made. I just want to ask, with your general experience here in the UK, what savings product would you recommend someone can put savings to if one can go into maybe business?
You want to go into business?
No. I'm asking what savings products can you recommend someone can put savings into if someone doesn't want to start going into business yet? Something where the money can yield better. Okay,
well, I would say to you at this point in time, if you, one of the things that I've noticed is that most of the banks are reducing their interest. The bank's interest is based on what the central bank interest rate is. Interest rate at the moment is 0.25. So at this point in time, there isn't much in terms of savings products that would give you that much of interest. Do you understand what I mean? That, oh, I'm going to get 5-10%. A lot of them, I think sometimes they have something at the moment that's 2.5%, but I understand from July, they're going to reduce that as well. So whilst you're saving the money, I think in the short term, I don't expect to sort anything because I put it in this, I'm going to double my money. It's not going to happen, not at this point in time. For long-term savings where you have shares and stocks and ISA, make sure you utilize your ISA because you don't pay tax on the interest you get on it. Make sure there's so many different ISAs at the moment. So that might be your best bet at the moment to start using ISA. Because one of the things about the savings is that sometimes if you put it in something that you cannot quickly dip your hand into, it's better for you than if you put it somewhere where you can quickly take it back out. Do you understand what I mean? So put it where you can, ISA, where you can, it's fixed and you can't get to it quickly.
Okay, Ma. Thank you very much.
Okay. All right, fabulous. Any more questions, thoughts? Thank you very much, Ma. I'm conscious of time and we do try to respect your time. Thank you very much, Ma. Some very, very, very powerful notes on savings, and I took a lot from it. Plan, have one plan, write your goals down, empower, and then read. So power. Also some good tips about switching energy providers, your car insurance, looking to go, if you don't drive a lot, look at reducing your mileage on car insurance, or even go for third party. We also spoke about other tips like have a bank account where you put 20% as your emergency fund, and never ever forget to leave God out of this. To give God his honor and his due, but also be a giver. Be a giver as well is a good one we spoke about. If you're in a relationship, please share your goals, be unified in your goals. Or something else we also spoke about as well. Some tips on savings that we spoke around, like going to budget supermarkets. A lot of them now sell the top brands, so you can even go to budget supermarkets and get top brands there as well if you're into that. So you can go there for that. If you know what you're doing, you can time the best deals. You can get payment holidays. So there are a lot, and we'll certainly be sharing all of this in the notes when we send them out. So yes.
I've just seen a question come up. Somebody says, you support family at home. Please. I know that a lot of us, our family at home depend on us. I would advocate that you continue to support them. However, if your income is dwindling, you may have to talk to them and tell them that for so reason, I've been giving you £100 before. In the short term, I can only afford to give you £50. So it is important that, especially if you're the ones that they rely on, that you tell them why you're reducing the amount that you're giving them. Your income has gone down, so they too have to manage their costs, and tell them why you're reducing their expense. But please do continue to support them. I'm just trying to quickly see if there's any other questions that been asked.
Nothing else. Nothing else has come up. I understand 20% is emergency. What percentage should be saved? I think the question
that is what you're saving, 20%.
Emergency is a savings, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So okay.
Obviously, if you like I said, I told you to increase your earning power. If you have managed to contain all your expenses into what you have now, anything that you earn extra should go into savings or investment. And I'm going to quickly talk about, for those of you who are self-employed, I'm not sure, the people who are self-employed here, the government has put together you can get a loan from the government. The loan is actually on 0%. The 0% is for a year. You will not pay any interest on it for a year. And even after that, if you don't pay it off after the end of the 0% period, it's 2.5% for the next year. So it is still cheaper than getting money. It's still cheaper than getting money from any other source. So I would advise you to make use of that and make use of the loans that are available to small businesses and self-employed. And apparently, the loan you get for self-employed, you can use it to support your income. You don't actually have to invest it in your business as well. So that I think is a useful tip for you as well.
Fabulous. Great. And one last question. I think that'll be the last question we take. Where is the best place to get the best credit card offers?
If you go on, the best thing I would say to you, go on creditscore.com or go on all this comparison sites, the Money Supermarket, Money Advice. And from there you would see all the different offers that is available at the moment. if you have a credit score, if you're aligned with maybe Experian, one of those credit score, all of these people, if you're aligned with them, go in, log back on in at the moment and put in there that, and they are all offering you advice as to how you can change into 0% balance. Obviously, you need to be very careful. Some of them have fees attached, some don't have any fees. And more importantly, they will tell you which ones you're pre-approved for. So it's not going to affect your credit score. So check, only go for the ones that you're pre-approved for so that you know that you're guaranteed you're going to get it. Look at the fees, look at what is associated with it. Go for the ones that don't have fees attached, because if you transfer your balance and you have to pay a large fee, that is not good. Look for ones that don't have fees or one that has low fees, and transfer your credit card onto them.
Okay, there's one last question. Do you get a better rate every single time you switch your insurance provider? That is the last one I'll be taking. Yeah.
You do, because you're switching providers.
Yeah. Okay, excellent. So thank you, everyone. We really appreciate it. Some powerful nuggets there. Thank you very much, Deaconess. And thank you everyone for joining, and do spread the word to your friends, family. This is all about, as a family, loving each other. And if you want the best for others to share these powerful things with others as well, so that they can join as well. And we look forward to seeing you. We'll be sharing the notes. We'll be sharing the recording soon. And if you have any questions, with a family, you can reach out to Deaconess Tito. She's always ready to help and answer any questions. So thank you, everyone. Have a great and wonderful bank holiday. May the Lord cover all of us, and have a great week. And we'll see you tomorrow for those who are part of who will be joining tomorrow. Service tomorrow. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.